Minta semua untuk bersedia. Majlis dengan segala hormatnya mengumumkan ketibaan Yang Berhormat Dato' Aaron Agu Dagang, Menteri Perpaduan Negara, diiringi dif-dif kehormat.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise to welcome our guest of honor.
Para hadirin dimohon untuk terus berdiri bagi sama-sama menyanyikan lagu kebangsaan Malaysia, Negaraku.
This will be followed by the national anthem of Peru, Himno Nacional del Peru. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and please be seated.
Terima kasih. Para hadirin dipersilakan duduk. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam perpaduan dan salam Malaysia Madani. Majlis dengan penuh hormat mengalu-alukan kehadiran Yang Berhormat Dato' Aaron Agodagang, Menteri Perpaduan Negara, Tuan Yang Terutama Ricardo Morate Canales, Duta Besar Peru ke Malaysia, Yang Berbahagia Dato' Haslina binti Abdul Hamid, Ketua Setiausaha Kementerian Perpaduan Negara, Yang Berbahagia Dato' Ahmad Rozian bin Abdul Ghani, Timbalan Ketua Setiausaha Kementerian Luar Negeri, Yang Berusaha Encik Edi Irwan bin Zulkafli, Ketua Pengarah Perpustakaan Negara Malaysia.
Distinguished guests, representatives of ministries and agencies, members of the diplomatic community, members from the media, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Great Inca Empire Integration and Diversity Program.
Program pada pagi ini merupakan inisiatif diplomasi budaya hasil kerjasama antara Kedutaan Besar Republik Peru di Malaysia dengan Kementerian Perpaduan Negara melalui Perpustakaan Negara Malaysia bersempena ulang tahun ke-40 hubungan diplomatik antara Malaysia dan Republik Peru pada tahun 2026. Empayar Inca merupakan antara tamadun terbesar di Amerika Selatan, terkenal dengan sistem pentadbiran yang tersusun, keupayaan kejuruteraan yang mengagumkan serta jaringan jalan raya yang luas.
Today's program invites us to explore the remarkable legacy of the Inca Empire through cultural performances, special video presentations, a book exchange ceremony, an executive talk, and also a photography exhibition. For information, the Inca Empire exhibition will be held for 5 days from 5th to 9th May at the Exhibition Hall, National Library of Malaysia.
Semoga program ini dapat memperluas kefahaman budaya, menyemarakkan semangat perpaduan serta memperkukuh hubungan persahabatan antara Malaysia dan Peru. Program ini juga bersiaran secara langsung menerusi YouTube PNM TV Channel dan turut dipancarkan di Mini Teater Aras 4 Anjung Bestari PNM. Sehubungan itu, Majlis mengalu-alukan kehadiran para hadirin di auditorium, para tetamu di Mini Teater serta para penonton yang mengikuti siaran secara dalam talian. Semoga perkongsian pada pagi ini dapat memberi manfaat dan inspirasi kepada semua.
May today's program inspire deeper cultural appreciation, stronger people-to-people connections, and lasting friendship between both nations. We would also like to extend our warm welcome to our online viewers who are joining us live via YouTube PNM TV Channel, as well as our guests watching the live broadcast from the Mini Theatre, Level 4, Anjung Bestari, National Library of Malaysia. Thank you for being part of this meaningful program.
Bagi membuka tirai persembahan pada pagi ini, Majlis dengan sukacitanya menampilkan Kelab Kebudayaan Sekolah Kebangsaan Setiawangsa Kuala Lumpur. Kelab ini telah ditubuhkan sejak tahun 2014 dan aktif dalam pelbagai persembahan seni, kebudayaan, drama dan pementasan di peringkat kebangsaan dan antarabangsa.
This club has achieved various recognitions, including international achievements in science drama competitions and the performing arts, as well as the Gold Star Awards at the Singapore Performance Arts Festival 2025.
Dengan segala hormatnya, dipersilakan. Terima kasih kepada para pelajar dari Sekolah Kebangsaan Setiawangsa atas persembahan yang cukup menarik dan memukau sebentar tadi. Seterusnya, majlis akan diteruskan dengan persembahan kebudayaan Peru yang memperlihatkan keindahan seni, tradisi dan warisan masyarakat Peru.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us now enjoy a special Peruvian cultural performance showcasing the vibrant spirit and beauty of Peru's cultural heritage. Please welcome. What a beautiful performance. Thank you to all the performers.
Para hadirin yang dihormati, majlis akan diteruskan dengan tayangan video khas bertajuk Peru Empire of Hidden Treasures.
This video will bring us closer to Peru's breathtaking landscapes, rich traditions, colorful heritage, and the uniqueness of its people.
Mari sama-sama kita saksikan.
In a world where the sun walked the earth, where gods were hidden within stones, and ancient cultures dominated the oceans. A world where death created life. And men communicated with the universe. In this world where the sun's sweat and the moon's tears protected the chosen ones, a magical legend emerged to forge the Inca Empire, destined to be one of the greatest civilizations of all time.
Tek sewera kocak muna kuining mi. Kay halip anjis, hanak mampuri dinampah.
An empire where the immensity of magical lakes blended with cities that were born from the earth. And the bravest of warriors traveled from unknown oceans to fortresses hidden in the mist. Peru, Empire of Hidden Treasures. 5,000 years of history, still alive. Don't watch the movie. Live it for real. Visit Peru.
Thank you. We hope everyone enjoyed the video presentation.
Sebagai tayangan sebentar tadi memberi gambaran yang lebih dekat tentang keindahan dan kekayaan budaya Peru. Majlis diteruskan dengan ucapan oleh Duta Besar Peru ke Malaysia.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I now invite His Excellency Ricardo Morotil Canales, Ambassador of Peru to Malaysia, to deliver his speech. Please welcome.
Selamat pagi. Good morning. Excellencies, Datuk Aaron Agoda Khan, Minister of National Unity, Dato Haslina Binti Hamid, Secretary General of the Ministry of National Unity, my dear friend Ahmad Rosian, Deputy Secretary General of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and Sheikh Eddie Irvan, Director General of National Library of Malaysia. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor to be here with you at the National Library, an institution that plays a vital role in preserving cultural heritage, safeguarding our collective memory, and expanding knowledge, thereby strengthening our national identity. Today, we celebrate a meaningful milestone, 40 years of diplomatic relation between Malaysia and Peru. Though separated by vast ocean, our nations share a profound sense of identity. Malaysia is proudly known as truly Asian, a vibrant mosaic of cultures and tradition. Peru, an ancient civilization in the same spirit, is often called a nation of all bloods, where diversity is embraced as the very essence of who we are. In both our countries, multiculturalism is not merely an idea, it is a way of life. It lives in our languages, enriches our cuisines, colors our festivals, and strengthens harmony among our people. We are also a nation that cherishes peace, built on coexistence, mutual respect, and dialogue in an increasingly interconnected world. Beyond our cultural richness, Peru and Malaysia are proud mega-diverse nation, blessed with an extraordinary natural heritage. From the Pacific coast, the Andes, and the Amazon rainforest, to the rich ecosystems of Southeast Asia, our lands are home to some of the world's greatest biodiversity. With this privilege comes a shared responsibility. Both our nations are firmly committed to protect the environment and advancing sustainable development for our people, for the future generation, and for the global community. Over the past 4 decades, our countries have built a strong and enduring friendship, grounded in mutual respect, close cooperation, and a shared commitment to multilateralism, the peaceful settlement of disputes, and a rules-based international order. We recall with appreciation the milestones that have shaped this relationship. The high-level exchange of the 1990s between the Prime Minister, Tun Dr. Mahathir, and President Alberto Fujimori, laid a solid foundation of trust and cooperation, exemplified by Malaysia's support for Peru's accession to APEC in 1998. More recently, the official visit of the Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim in November 2024 reaffirmed our commitment to deepen and expand these ties. In this spirit, Peru and Malaysia have adopted a joint declaration as a roadmap for the future, enhancing trade, promoting investment, and expanding cooperation across key sectors. It reflects our shared goal of building a resilient, prosperous, and mutually beneficial partnership. Looking ahead, there are significant opportunities to strengthen our economic ties, advancing the CPTPP and leveraging the strategic potential of Peru-Chancay ports. We can unlock new avenues of connectivity and growth. As South America's first Pacific logistics hub, Chancay Port is poised to transform regional trade, redistributing cargo across the region from Chile, Ecuador, and Colombia to inland connection with Brazil and Bolivia, facilitating more efficient trade with Asia. The Chancay-Shanghai Trans-Pacific route has already reduced transit time by 12 days and lowered costs by 12%, delivering tangible benefits for businesses. These developments are not merely economic, they are transformative, bringing our region and countries closer together and creating real opportunities for our people. The moments we celebrate today are not just milestones, they are a stepping stone toward an even stronger and more meaningful partnership. The future before us is full of promise, and together we will accomplish great things. Thank you. Terima kasih banyak-banyak.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
Majlis merakamkan setinggi penghargaan dan terima kasih kepada Tuan Yang Terutama Duta Besar Peru ke Malaysia atas ucapan sebentar tadi. Seterusnya, majlis akan diteruskan dengan tayangan video khas bersempena lawatan rasmi julung kali yang amat berhormat Datuk Seri Anwar bin Ibrahim, Perdana Menteri Malaysia ke Peru pada tahun 2024.
This special video highlights the historic first official visit of the Honorable Datuk Seri Anwar bin Ibrahim, Prime Minister of Malaysia to Peru in 2024, reflecting the close diplomatic relations and friendship between both nations.
Mari sama-sama kita saksikan.
Señoras y señores, buenas tardes, bienvenidas y bienvenidos. A continuación, invitamos a la Ministra de Comercio Exterior
Memorandum of Understanding with the Minister of Investment,
y el Allied Development Corporation, sobre cooperación para el desarrollo de la industria estatal en el Perú.
Esta condecoración demuestra además nuestro agradecimiento por su fructífera visita oficial que constituye un importante paso en el fortalecimiento de nuestras relaciones político-diplomáticas, económicas y de cooperación.
Anwar Ibrahim. Your Excellency, Mr. Anwar Ibrahim, Prime Minister of Malaysia, Ministers of State, distinguished members of the Diplomatic Corps, Minister Peru, an award that will praise his visit to Peru, to our country. It has been a great opportunity to further build our ties of friendship.
With government, we can renew our bilateral agenda for.
We see immense potential in strengthening our cooperation in areas such as trade, investment, and promoting interests of the global South. The tyranny of distance will not hold us back from building a fruitful partnership. President Adina, I have said in the earlier meeting that I am personally delighted to be in Peru.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. May this video presentation further remind us of the growing ties between Malaysia and Peru.
Para hadirin yang dihormati, kini tibalah masa yang dinanti-nantikan iaitu ucapan perasmian. Dengan segala hormat dan takzimnya, Majlis menjemput Yang Berhormat Dato' Aaron Aku Dagang, Menteri Perpaduan Negara untuk menyampaikan ucapan perasmian.
It is my pleasure to invite Yang Berhormat Dato' Aaron Aku Dagang, Minister of National Unity, to deliver his speech and to officially open this the Great Inca Empire Integration and Diversity Program. Please welcome.
Selamat pagi, good morning, salam sejahtera, salam perpaduan. His Excellency Ricardo Estanislo Moretti Canales, the Ambassador of Peru to Malaysia, Yang Bahagia Dr. Aslina binti Abdul Hamid, Secretary General Ministry of National Unity, Yang Bahagia Dato' Ahmad Rozian bin Abdul Ghani, Deputy Secretary General Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Yang Berusaha Encik Edi Irwan bin Sukapli, Director General of the National Library of Malaysia, Excellencies Ambassadors, High Commissioners and members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished guests from ministries, government agencies, academicians, students, ladies and gentlemen, again, very good morning. Standing here now, recalling back the many years when we were in the universities. This is what we call it a theater, the sitting arrangements and whatnot. For that, thank you, this National Library of Malaysia. And of course, today I'm truly honored to be with you all at the opening ceremony of the program and exhibition, the Great Inca Empire, with the theme of integration and diversity. And of course, the program will last the next 4 days. And of course, this kind of distinguished events definitely bring together the enduring values of history, culture, and international cooperation on a very meaningful and inspiring platform. And for that, I would like to express my highest appreciation to the Embassy of Peru and the National Library of Malaysia for organizing this event. This initiative not only enriches our intellectual and cultural landscape, but it also reflects a shared commitment fostering mutual understanding through the exchange of knowledge and heritage. Our gathering today goes beyond the opening of an exhibition. It signifies a collective dedication of appreciating the richness of human civilizations, and at the same time, of course, strengthening cultural connections that transcends geographical boundaries. In this moment, we witnessed the convergence of two great civilizations from distant countries and continents, the Asia and South America, which brought us together by the values of its diversity, its unity, and of course, the shared humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, this year is particularly important and very significant as Malaysia and Peru commemorate its 40 years of diplomatic relationship since 1987, the cooperation. And both countries, cooperation, and also members of the Asia Economic Cooperation, APEC, and also both are signatories to the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership. The moment of this relationship has been further enhanced through the visit of our Prime Minister, as you can see in the short video just now, which was in November last 2024. And of course, that visit was not merely diplomatic in nature, but also served as a catalyst for elevating Malaysia-Peru relations to a more strategic and impactful level. And during the visit, both countries have signed MOU in the halal, in the agriculture, and as well in the gastronomy sector. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Malaysia and Peru share a strong similarity in their rich cultural and ethnic diversity, which forms an important foundation of their national identity. Malaysia, as you know, is a multi-ethnic nation comprising mainly Malays, the Chinese, the Indians, the indigenous group from Sabah and Sarawak, and of course, indigenous communities in West Malaysia, and each of these contributing to the country's cultural, linguistic, and social fabric. Now, this diversity is embraced within a framework of unity, where harmony and mutual respect are the key national principles. And similarly in Peru, Peru is a multi-ethnic nation comprising mainly the indigenous people and a multi-source of mixed indigenous and European heritage. The country is also home to 44 distinct ethnic groups, including 42 in the Amazon region, as well as prominent highland communities such as the Quechua and Aymara. I don't know whether I pronounced it correctly. Is it correct, sir? Thank you. And in both countries, Malaysia and Peru, diversity is our view. It's not viewed as a division, but as a source of strength, which shaping our national identity, our cultural expression, as well as our social cohesion. This is what we call unity in diversity, and diversity is strength. Now, the Great Inca Empire exhibition, with the theme of integration of diversity, invite us to appreciate a civilization that exemplifies unity through diversity, guided by strong values, structured systems, as well as effective leadership. Cultural democracy continues to play a pivotal role in fostering mutual understanding and strengthening connections within societies. And through this exhibition, we see how history becomes a bridge, how culture becomes a common language, and how knowledge becomes a foundation for stronger ties between Malaysia and Peru. And to further strengthen this role, the National Library of Malaysia will continue to enhance key initiatives, such as the Embassy Collection Corner, which enables visitors to explore the history, the culture, and identity of nations, including the Inca civilization. Secondly, we have international exhibition and collaborative connection with embassies and partners that advance global knowledge. And thirdly, it acts as a reference services and programs that serve as platform for dialogue and knowledge sharing. Now, all these efforts demonstrate that universal values transcends border. It brings nations closer together despite the geographical distances. And in line with the aspirations of Malaysia Madani, the government remains committed to nurturing a society that is grounded in compassion, in inclusivity, and in shared value. I would like to express my appreciation and many thanks for hosting the executive talk, the shaping of two nations, their histories, their cultures, language, and people, which will be delivered by Associate Professor Dr. Roy Anthony Rogers, the head of the Department of International and Strategic Studies in University of Malaya, and he's also a fellow of the Academy Kenegaraan Malaysia. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm confident this exhibition will benefit all, particularly the young generation, in recognizing the diversity that we have, which is a strength in building a harmonious and resilient nation. It is also my hope that this initiative will continue to serve as an effective platform in further strengthening the ties between the two countries, Malaysia and Peru. And ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, with great honor, I'm pleased to officially declare open the program on exhibition, The Great Inca Empire, with its theme, Integration and Diversity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yang Berhormat Datuk.
Majlis kini diteruskan dengan sesi pertukaran buku yang melambangkan perkongsian ilmu, penghargaan budaya dan semangat persahabatan antara Malaysia dan Peru. Bagi menyempurnakan sesi ini, Majlis dengan segala hormatnya menjemput Div-Div Kehormat untuk naik ke pentas bersama Yang Berhormat Menteri. Bagi meneruskan sesi pertukaran buku ini, dipersilakan.
To proceed with the book exchange ceremony, we respectfully invite the guest of honor onto the stage together with Yang Berhormat Minister. For the first presentation, the Peruvian side will hand over a book donation to the National Library of Malaysia. Please proceed.
Untuk makluman hadirin, 4 buku penerbitan yang diserahkan ialah Ilmu Gastronomi Melayu, Puri Kencana Perpustakaan Negara Malaysia, Syair Siti Zubaidah Perang Cina, Perspektif Sejarah, Sumber Histografi Alam Melayu, Koleksi Peribadi John Bastin dan Hikayat Hang Tuah.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Peruvian side will hand over a book donation to the National Library of Malaysia. Please proceed. The Embassy of Peru is honored to donate to the National Library of Malaysia the complete works Royal Commentaries of the Incas by Inca Garcilaso de la Vega and the New Chronicle and Good Government by Felipe Huaman Poma de Ayala, documenting the transition from the Inca Empire to the Spanish conquest from 1532 to 1572.
Majlis merakamkan setinggi penghargaan dan terima kasih kepada Div Kehormat. Seterusnya, Majlis menjemput Div-Div Kehormat untuk sesi bergambar.
We would like to invite our distinguished guests to remain on stage for the official photography session.
Seterusnya, Majlis menjemput para duta besar dan tetamu kehormat untuk naik ke pentas bagi sesi bergambar bersama Yang Berhormat Menteri. Dipersilakan.
Next, we would like to invite the ambassadors and guests of honor onto the stage for a photography session with Yang Berhormat Minister.
Terima kasih atas kerjasama yang diberikan. Para hadirin yang dihormati, majlis seterusnya menjemput Yang Berhormat Menteri dan tetamu-tetamu kehormat untuk melawat pameran yang telah disediakan.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now respectfully invite the Honourable Minister and our distinguished guests to proceed with the exhibition visit.
Para hadirin dimohon untuk memberi laluan kepada tetamu kehormat. Untuk makluman semua, selepas ini akan diteruskan dengan sesi bicara eksekutif bertajuk The Shaping of Two Nations, Their Histories, Cultures, Languages and People. Diminta semua untuk terus bersama-sama dengan kami di dalam auditorium ini. Baiklah, sidang hadirin majlis akan berhenti rehat seketika. Dimohon semua untuk terus berada di dalam dewan. Mungkin boleh memenuhkan ruang-ruang yang masih kosong di bahagian hadapan, kerana majlis akan berhenti rehat seketika untuk persiapan sesi eksekutif seterusnya. Mari sama-sama kita saksikan video tayangan berkenaan dengan Peru. Okey, para pelajar adik-adik boleh penuhkan ruang-ruang yang masih kosong di bahagian hadapan. Kita akan adakan teruskan satu sesi bicara eksekutif iaitu The Shaping of Two Nations, Their Histories, Cultures, Languages and People.
Tak ada, tak nampak ada orang letak.
Baiklah sidang hadirin yang dihormati, majlis kini diteruskan dengan sesi bicara eksekutif bertajuk The Shaping of Two Nations, Their Histories, Cultures, Languages and People.
This executive talk will be delivered by Associate Professor Dr. Roy Anthony Rogers, Peter Rogers, Head of the Department of International and Strategic Studies, Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, University Malaya, and also a Fellow of the Academy of Nationhood, Malaysia.
Yang berusaha Profesor Madya Dr. Roy Anthony Rogers Peter merupakan ahli akademik dalam bidang hubungan antarabangsa, analisis dasar luar dan dasar luar Malaysia, selain mempunyai kepakaran dalam kajian Cina, Asia Tengah serta isu-isu strategik antarabangsa.
He has also served as Deputy Executive Director at the Asia-Europe Institute and is widely recognized as a media resource person for RTM, Esro Awani and Bernama TV.
Dengan segala hormatnya, dipersilakan.
Please welcome.
YB Dato' Aaron Argo Dagang, Minister of National Unity, Yang berbahagia Datuk Haslina binti Abdul Hamid, Secretary General of National Unity Ministry, Yang berbahagia Datuk Ahmad Rozain bin Abdul Ghani, Deputy Secretary General, Ministry of Foreign Affairs Malaysia, His Excellency Ricardo Esnaliso Morate Calanis, Ambassador of the Republic of Peru to Malaysia, Yang berusaha Encik Edi Erwan bin Zulkifli, Director General, National Library of Malaysia, members of the Diplomatic Corps, ladies and gentlemen. Salam sejahtera, selamat pagi, hola buenos dias, salam Malaysia Madani. (2026) is a special year for Malaysia and Peru, as both countries celebrated the 40th anniversary of diplomatic relations 1996 to 2026. In 1990s, Malaysia, under the administration of former Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, and Peru, under the administration of President Alberto Fujimori, laid the foundation stone for bilateral relations between Kuala Lumpur and Lima. They fostered closer ties, diplomatic relations during the mid-1990s in the area of trade, investment, and South-South cooperation. President Fujimori visited Malaysia and expressed admiration for its development, while Dr. Mahathir pursued a new market leading to the increase of Malaysian investment in Peru. And on this morning, I would like to take this opportunity to express our sincere gratitude to members of the diplomatic community, especially the ambassadors who have served the two countries, Malaysian ambassadors who have served in Peru, past and present, as well as the Peruvian ambassadors who have served in Malaysia, past and present. May we give them a round of applause. And in particular, arwah or the late Datuk Ahmad Mokhtar Salat, who was the first Malaysian ambassador to Peru. And I personally knew him because upon his retirement from Wisma Putra, he served as a visiting lecturer at the Department of International and Strategic Studies for some years. Of course, he has passed on. May arwah soul rest in peace. Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, the 10th Prime Minister of Malaysia, renewed the friendship through an official visit to Peru on 13 November 2025. Malaysian Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar arrived in Lima, Peru on the 12th of November 2025, local time, and for maiden official visit to South America, and aimed at strengthening trade and investment. He attended the 2024 APEC Economic Leaders and received Peru's highest award, that is El Sol del Peru, which you have seen from the video earlier on. Former President Dina Boluarte, and the diplomatic relations between Malaysia and Peru are only 4 decades old. This period is nothing long compared to the long history of both countries. Their culture and ethnic diversity distinguish Malaysia and Peru, the two countries on opposite sides of the globe, formed by long history and social patterns that grew from pre-colonial to post-colonial periods. Although the two countries are far apart and official relations are only 40 years old, the two countries have several unique similarities. This includes the 5 aspects. First, in history, both countries have long history and civilization, even goes beyond colonial era. European colonial powers once colonized Malaysia and Peru. Spain colonized Peru from 1532 to 1821, while the Portuguese colonized parts of Malaysia in 1915, followed by the Dutch in 1641, then the British in the mid-19th century. Imperial Japan also occupied Malaysia during the Second World War from 1942 to 1945. After the war, the British returned and stayed till Malaysia achieved independence in 1957. Ladies and gentlemen, it should be emphasized here that the societies of both countries have already had a long history of superior empires with their own system of government, legislation, governance, judiciary, diplomacy, and economy before the arrival of the colonial powers. In Malaysia, there were already early kingdoms such as Langkasuka in the 1st and 2nd century AD, Kedah Tua or Old Kedah in Lembah Bujang or Bujang Valley, and Ganga Negara, located in Bruas, Perak. By the 15th century, it saw the establishment of the Malacca Sultanate that have developed as a maritime trading center located on the spice route. We hear of the Silk Road, and there is also the spice route, that is the maritime route. Other kingdoms in Southeast Asia region, like the Sriwijaya, Ayutthaya, and the hegemonic powers such as the Song dynasty, the Song, Yuan, and Ming dynasties in China, and the Chola dynasty in India, had already established diplomatic relations. And the existence of these kingdoms have been clear in the writings such as Hikayat Merong Mahawangsa, the Malay Annals, or the Salastun Salastin, or better known as Sejarah Melayu. Writings outside Southeast Asia, such as the Ming Shi Lu, or the Ming Veritable Records, also document the existence of these kingdoms. Ladies and gentlemen, in fact, the Sultanate of Malacca already had its own administrative, governance, and judicial system. This is proven with the existence of Malacca law, or better known as the Malacca Code, or Hukum Kanun Malacca. The regulations were established to protect the government, people, and the state of Malacca. Although the code was implemented during the reign of Sultan Muzaffar Shah from 1446 to 1456 AD, the Malacca Code influenced the emergence of the Pahang Code, or better known as the Hukum Kunun Pahang, in the 16th century. It was based on Islamic teachings and Malay traditional customs. The Pahang Code, or the Hukum Kanun Pahang, can be considered an early constitution. And I repeat, it's an early constitution where it outlines the jurisdiction and the responsibilities of the Sultan and the ministers, or the Pembesar. It also includes areas such as criminal law, trade law, marriage law, family, and custom. It was used in Pahang and Johor, and had significant influence in the promulgation of the Brunei Code, or Hukum Kanun Brunei, or Brunei law, and also the 99 law, or the Undang-Undang 99 Perak. So that has an influence. So from Hukum Kanun Malacca to Pahang, and then subsequently to Johor and the other states as well. In addition, Malacca, there was already the Malacca Maritime Law, or the Undang-Undang Laut Malacca, which was the legal code of the Malacca Sultanate from 1400 to 1511, that specifically dealt with matters related to maritime law, regulations, as well as nautical procedures regarding merchant ships and navigation. Sultan Muhammad Shah is said to have promulgated the Malacca Maritime Law during his reign. This means that in the Malay world had maritime law to monitor maritime activities 550 years earlier than the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, which was adopted in 1992 and in force since 1994. So that shows that in our civilization, we already had a maritime law, much earlier than the UNCLOS that we have today, as early as 550 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, the same time can be observed in Peru, where there was already a superior empire before the arrival of Spain in the 16th century, as you have seen in the video. For example, the Kawin culture was highly influential in the pre-Inca civilization that thrived in the North Andean highlands of Peru, especially especially in the Monsna Valley, approximately 900 BC to 200 BC. Centered at the religious site in Kavin Dewanta, they established a major ideological and artistic tradition that later influenced the Andean culture. They are known for their advanced culture, use of metal, monumental temple architecture adorned with embroidered stone carving. In addition, the Inca Empire, or the Tawantin Yusu, which is also known as the Inca Empire, was the largest pre-Columbian empire in the Americas, stretching 2,500 miles along South America Pacific coast and the Andes Mountains. Centered as Cusco, Peru, the Inca achieved remarkable engineering, agricultural, and including road system, the Capanan and Machu Picchu. The empire high structure bureaucracy was ruled by the Sapa Inca, whom people worship as the living god, a similar practice to the Hindu concept of Deva Raja in Southeast Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, another achievement of the Inca Empire was the development of advanced tracing techniques and also agriculture system to grow crops like potatoes, quinoa on steppes and mountain slopes. They also built extensive network roads known as Kapanan, or over 2,500 miles stone paved roads and bridges to connect the diverse terrain of mountains, jungles, and desert. Despite having no written language, they use kopu, a system, knotted colored strings, record data, consensus information, and military logistics. The second aspect, ladies and gentlemen, is culture, where Peru's culture is a vibrant, diverse fusion of indigenous Incan tradition and Spanish colonial influence, as well as various migrant groups like Chinese, Japanese, and European. This unique blend, often called the fusion of cultures, is clearly demonstrated in the country. Right? The country is known for its cuisine, thousands of annual festivals, deep-seated religious tradition characterized by rich culinary traditions, colorful festival, and deep-rooted musical heritage. Peru celebrates nearly 3,000 festivals each year. Most are a combination of Catholic celebration and indigenous rituals, such as the Inti Raymi, or the Sun Festival, which honors the Inca sun god. Peruvian festivals are colorful, featuring traditional music played on instruments such as quina, or the ancient flute, and traditional dances. Peruvian cuisine is a global phenomenon recognized for its diverse and creative use of local ingredients such as over 3,000 varieties of potatoes. It combines native Indian flavors in international techniques brought by migrants, resulting in a rich culinary identity. Ladies and gentlemen, it is noteworthy to mention that the country is a living museum, as you have seen from the video, of the Inca and the pre-Inca architecture. Most notably, Machu Picchu and the Sacred Valley. Traditional textiles are another vital cultural expression, often featuring the patterns and vibrant colors that vary by region. In the field of architecture, the mestizo style, or the combination of people of European descent and locals, combine the European and Baroque indigenous style is mainly observed in Cusco and Arequipa. The culture of Malaysia is vibrant, as Malaysia is a melting pot defined by its multi-ethnic society, primarily comprising of Malay, Chinese, Indian communities, alongside diverse indigenous people like the Orang Asli and those in East Malaysia, in Sabah and Sarawak. This coexistence has created a unique Muhibah spirit, unifying sense of harmony and mutual respect. Mutual respect where different ethnics celebrate each other's tradition, food, and festival. Malaysia is a multi-religious nation that celebrates Islamic, Buddhist, Hindu, and Christian festivals. Malaysia's calendar features major festivals such as Hari Raya Aidilfitri, Chinese New Year, Deepawali, Gawai Festival, Pesta Keamatan, Waisakhi, Vesak, and Christmas. People often celebrate this with an open house or rumah terbuka tradition, inviting people of all races to share food. Malaysia is known as a food paradise. Dishes like nasi lemak, roti canai, satay reflect the fusion of Malay, Chinese, Indian influence. Besides, Malaysia has a deep heritage in crafts such as batik, songket, then the royal tenun of Pahang, and the performing arts like wayang kulit. While Islam is the official religion, Malaysia is the home of thriving Buddhist, Hindu, and Christian community. The landmark like Batu Caves, which is a Hindu shrine, and the largest statue of the sleeping Buddha in Southeast Asia in Tumpat, Kelantan, symbolizes the coexistence of the various religion and diverse identity. The country's motto is Malaysia, Truly Asia, reflects this unique blending of various Asian culture. Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth aspect is language. In Malaysia, the national language is Bahasa Melayu, as enshrined in Article 152 of the Federal Constitution. However, many people widely speak other languages such as Chinese, that is Mandarin, Hokkien, Cantonese, Hakka, Tamil, Kadazan, Iban, and indigenous languages. English is the second language widely used in business and education. As Malaysia is a multiracial country, Malaysian literature is multilingual and diverse work produced in Malay, English, Chinese, and Tamil, reflecting a multicultural society. It ranges from rich oral folklores, myth, and classical Malay tales to modern literature, post-colonial themes, and contemporary fiction that deals with identity, politics, social change. Malaysia has a high literacy rate, approximately 95%, and the earliest works that were transmitted orally included folklores, romance, and poetry such as pantun and syair. In the early stages, the early Malay literature was heavily influenced by the Indian epic of Ramayana and Mahabharata. And later, from the 15th century, the influence of Islamic literature expanded with the introduction of Jawi, or the Arabic scripts, and new literacy forms such as Hikayat, Syair, Kitab, and Sufi mysticism in the writings of Hamzah Fansuri. It replaced the Hindu-Buddhist themes with Islamic ethics, theology, and narrative focusing on the stories of the prophet and afterlife and moral stories to guide life. Contemporary Malaysian literature is enriched with works from various ethnic groups such as Tan Tuan Eng, Hannah Afkal, Lloyd Fernando, and themes often explore post-colonialism, national identity, and urban life. While in Peru, ladies and gentlemen, Spanish is the principal official language spoken by most population. It is dominant language in administration, education, and coastal urban areas. However, Peru also recognizes other languages as official regional languages that includes Quechua, about 13%, the Aymara, about 2%, alongside dozens of indigenous Amazonian languages. These are other 40 distinct indigenous languages in the Amazon region, with such as the Anshunika and the Arguaruna, which is commonly spoken. Like Malaysia, Peru has a high literacy rate over 85%. Peru's rich literature spans pre-Hispanic oral tradition, colonial era works, and modern times, combining Spanish and indigenous influence. Prominent figures include Nobel Prize winners such as Mario Vargas Llosa, poet, Cesar Vallejo, and novelist Jose Maria Arcudas, with themes focusing on national identity, social struggles, political criticism, and structure. It should be emphasized that pre-Hispanic literature in the original artistic form created by the Quechua and Aymara and the Amazonian people. The colonial period was influenced by Spain, but include the significant indigenous and mestizo voices such as Inca Garcilaso de la Vega, and the 19th century saw the emergence of indigenous influence that influenced on American culture and contemporary style. Ladies and gentlemen, the fifth aspect is the peoples of the two countries. In Peru, population is multicultural, combining indigenous, European, African, and Asian heritage. The ethnic composition is made up of indigenous, mestizo, European, and other, including African, Japanese, and Chinese. The Peruvian people are known for being warm, culturally rich, rooted in regional traditions from the Quechua Aymara-speaking highland communities of the Indies to the modern and cosmopolitan life of the coast. Peru is a melting pot, especially clear in its cuisine, which combines indigenous ingredients, as I mentioned earlier on, of various types of potatoes with Spanish, African, and Asian influence. The population in coastal areas such as Lima is urban and business-oriented, while the Indian highlands maintain a traditional and customary lifestyle. Football is a favorite sport, and music such as Afro-Puertorian style is popular. Most of the population is Roman Catholic, but religious practices often mix with indigenous spiritual tradition, resulting in a colorful, frequent festival, especially the Cusco. Meanwhile, the Incan Empire history, Spanish colonization, and more recent Asian and African migration waves influence Peruvian identity. Ladies and gentlemen, Malaysia is also a multi-ethnic community, multilingual and multicultural society, primarily made up of Malay, Chinese, and Indian and indigenous group. Malaysia is known for their hospitality, food culture, and respect for diverse tradition. Islam is the official religion, but the country has high religious diversity of Buddhism, Christianity, Hinduism. The population is unevenly distributed, with majority residing in Peninsular Malaysia, while East Malaysia, that is Sabah and Sarawak, holds a vast different demographic composition of indigenous tribes such as Iban, Kadazan, Bajau, and Dayak. Ladies and gentlemen, last is the forests of the two states. Malaysia's forests are ancient, hyper-diverse tropical rainforests with areas like Taman Negara, estimated to be 130 million years old. It is one of the oldest rainforests in the world, covering roughly 54% of the country's land area. They feature immense biodiversity, including thousands of trees, species, iconic spots like the Fosse Forest, and Malaysian forests contain about 15,000 tree species, including the tualang tree and the parasitic Rafflesia, as you can see from the picture. However, this ecosystem faces significant threats from development, with major deforestation occurring. Ladies and gentlemen, similar to Peru, forests cover about 60% of the country, with 90% of this with 90% of this area being part of the Amazon rainforest. It features incredible biodiversity, including the Salkan trekking and the Seca di Selva, or cloud forest of the Indus slope, and the Tri-Spot Advisor list top, including the National Reserve Forest. The main gateways for exploring biodiversity or biodiverse tropical, dry, and cloud forests in Peru. I must emphasize that Peru has the 4th largest tropical forest in the world. It is a home of countless species, including jaguar, monkeys, pink river dolphins, and the vast areas of bird species. It is noteworthy to mention that the Amazon region is the home of 51 different types of indigenous people. Like Malaysia's rainforest, Amazon is facing significant threats from deforestation, primarily driven by agriculture, and other threats including mining and as well as illegal logging. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, Malaysia-Peru is celebrating the 40th anniversary of our diplomatic relations. Therefore, the question arises how the diplomatic relations between Malaysia and Peru will be for the next 40 years. We have just celebrated, or we are still celebrating the 40 years. How about the next 40 years? How do we carve the next 40 years? From this description that I just highlighted, they have their own, both countries have its own unique characteristics in terms of history, culture, language, population, and environment. Clearly, their relationship has a lot of potentials for development and cooperation, including in the fields of tourism, research in culture, forestry, education, trade, as well as people-to-people or P2P relations for the next 4 decades that we can embark, because we have both unique characteristics that I have elaborated, and we should move forward in these few areas, as I mentioned. In the area of tourism, in the area of forestry, we have both rainforests where we can develop and conduct research. And in the area of culture, we are both melting pots of various cultures, traditions. All right? And also in the area of education, exchange of students, exchange of academics, MOUs and between universities from Peru as well as Malaysia, and not forgetting, of course, trade and also people-to-people relations. Besides government to government between Kuala Lumpur or Putrajaya with Lima, but people-to-people, communities, students sharing these relations. So despite the undeniable distance, and I don't deny that we are far apart, distance separates us. Malaysia is in Southeast Asia, while Peru is in Latin America or South America. Distance between the two countries, but due to technological advancement and globalization allows or make the problem or the challenges of distance lesser. Today, we can call someone in Peru, or we can have video conferencing, we can have Google Meet, so on and so forth. So distance is indeed a challenge, but due to the advancement of technology and globalization, that have kind of reduced this challenge. So for the start, we must get to know each other better. As the saying in Malay, tak kenal maka tak cinta. Or not knowing, therefore not falling in love. Direct translation. So therefore, we need more programs like this. We need more programs like this to know more about Peru, and for Peru to know more about Malaysia. Programs like this that to bring the two communities to know each other. Both countries should work closer in facing current global uncertainties. As we know, the current war that is going on in West Asia, there's a lot of uncertainties. We are in the developing world. We should work closer through bilateral between Kuala Lumpur and Lima, as well as through multilateral means, such as through the APEC. So with the end, I would like to express here, berbanyak terima kasih, muchas gracias, and selamat ulang tahun ke-40 persahabatan Malaysia-Peru, or allow me to say, Feliz Cuadragésimo Aniversario de la Amistad entre Malaysia-Peru. Viva Malaysia, long live Malaysia, and long live our friendship with Peru. Viva Peru. Thank you. Thank you.
Majlis merakamkan setinggi penghargaan dan terima kasih kepada Yang Berhormat Profesor Madya Dr. Roy Anthony atas perkongsian ilmu yang sangat bernilai sebentar tadi.
Thank you, Associate Professor Dr. for the insightful and enriching session.
Para hadirin yang dihormati, kini majlis akan beralih ke sesi soal jawab sekiranya ada.
Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is now open for the question and answer session. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. Yes.
Sila nyatakan nama dan organisasi sebelum mengemukakan soalan. Dipersilakan.
Assalamualaikum. I'm Muhammad Shafi Syabi Asar and I'm from SMK Dato' Hamzah Kelang. Sorry kalau saya cakap bahasa Melayu.
Silakan, tak ada masalah.
Selain persahabatan ini dilakukan dari segi ekonomi, perdagangan, apakah persahabatan
cool down, don't worry.
Apakah persahabatan yang boleh dijalinkan selain daripada ekonomi dan perdagangan? Okay, thank you.
Terima kasih. Saya akan jawab dalam bahasa Melayu dan bahasa Inggeris ya.
Okay. Thank you.
Alright. Memandangkan soalan dalam bahasa Melayu, saya akan jawab dalam bahasa Melayu tapi mungkin campur dengan bahasa Inggeris lah. Okay. Saya tidak nafi bahawa buat masa kini hubungan bilateral antara Malaysia dengan Peru tertumpu kepada aspek perdagangan. Tapi pada masa yang sama, ada banyak perkara yang boleh dikembangkan dalam hubungan bilateral ini. Seperti mana yang telah saya nyatakan di sini, misalnya dalam penyelidikan. Okay, kedua-dua negara mempunyai hutan belantara yang besar. Right? The two countries have huge rainforests, and there are potentials for us to develop this research in the area of rainforests. So it's one area yang mana kita boleh memperkembangkan kerjasama dalam penyelidikan perhutanan, memandangkan kedua-dua negara mempunyai hutan belantara yang besar, yang mana kita boleh kembangkan dalam misalnya tumbuhan-tumbuhan dan binatang yang ada di hutan. Itu satu. That's one. Apart from that, we can also cooperate with Peru on the area of education. In the area of education, as I said, signing of MOAs between the Peruvian universities and Malaysian universities. Peru can send their students to Malaysia to study, and also perhaps even to study English. Okay, I'm sure that both ministries of education, kedua-dua kementerian pendidikan akan mengadakan lebih banyak kerjasama, pertukaran sama ada kaki tangan ataupun para profesor dalam bidang pendidikan. So these are the few areas apart from trade, selain daripada perdagangan. Dan apa yang lebih penting juga adalah apa yang saya katakan di situ, people to people, iaitu hubungan antara insan di Malaysia dengan insan di Peru. Ini merangkumi dalam bidang pelancongan dan juga dalam pendidikan di mana pelajar-pelajar datang. Misalnya tadi ada penari tradisional daripada Peru. So these are some of the people-to-people's relations. So diharapkan bahawa dalam tempoh 4 dekad yang akan datang, tahun ini kita menyambut ulangan 4 dekad hubungan Malaysia-Peru. Diharapkan dalam 4 dekad yang akan datang, saya tak tahu sama ada saya akan ada pada masa itu, masa mereka menyambut menyambut 80 tahun. I'm not sure whether I'll be still here or not, but I hope that in the next 40 years, Malaysia's Peru relations can grow into areas as I just mentioned. And one of them is even, say for example, in football. Football is an all-time favorite game in Malaysia. Bola sepak merupakan satu permainan ataupun satu acara sukan kegemaran warga negara Malaysia, begitu juga warga negara Peru. So there are a lot of similarities. Cuma jarak yang memisahkan kita, jarak yang beribu kilometer, tetapi dengan adanya kemampuan teknologi, dia telah merapatkan kita dengan adanya macam misalnya globalisasi internet dan sebagainya. So memang banyak potensi selain pada perdagangan. Saya harap saya sudah ada menjawab soalan saudara. Alright, thank you. Any other questions? Thank you as a young Student, you are brave enough to ask the question. Very good. I know some from Kajang High School. Why I'm particular concerned, because I was from Kajang High School as well. More than 30 years ago, I was from Kajang High School. My late father, arwah ayah saya dulu kerja di Jabatan Penjara. So, saya duduk di Kajang lebih 20 tahun. So, I grew up in Kajang. So, I saw you all in the toilet. I recognized your tie. So, I was very excited when I saw Kajang High School. So, any questions from Kajang High School? All right, yes, yeah. Oh, yeah, hi.
Good morning, Professor Roy. I'm from SMKT Kajang, and I would like to ask a question.
Please do.
How does the difference of culture will increase the economy of a country?
Difference, culture.
Yes, different culture.
All right. Okay, yeah. Of course, I mean, when we have different culture, we can showcase our culture. We can use that as a strength to promote, say, in the area of tourism, in the area of arts. So different culture, all right, in a way, it helps the country to promote the diverse identity of the state. This year, 2026 is the Visit Malaysia 2026, and we are promoting this Malaysia Truly Asia. So that is actually an advantage for our economy. Yeah, so we can use that as our strength. Yeah, while maintaining our own traditions. I hope I answer your question.
Okay, thank you, Professor Roy.
Most welcome. You're from Kajang High School?
Yes, Professor.
Pusat Sumber?
Yeah, Pusat Sumber.
I was also a Pusat Sumber. I was there from that was ancient. 1988, from 1 until 1994. Yes, please. Any questions? Oh, yeah, please. From which school? Dari sekolah mana, adik?
Hai.
Izinkan saya berbicara dalam bahasa Melayu.
Silakan.
Nama saya Khair Ryan bin Zuraimi. Saya dari sekolah SMK Saya Berjaya.
Okey.
Okey, seperti yang dinyatakan, kedua-dua negara Malaysia dan juga Peru mempunyai banyak persamaan dari segi budaya. Sebagai contoh, negara kita, Malaysia, rata-ratanya rakyat berbicara dalam fasih dalam bahasa Melayu, Mandarin, English dan juga Tamil. Soalan saya, Okey. Bagaimanakah hubungan diplomatik antara kedua-dua negara ini, Malaysia dan Peru, memberi manfaat kepada kami, generasi muda dan masa-masa yang akan datang? Terima kasih.
Okey. Baik. Pertama sekali, saya nak katakan di sini, Malaysia mengamalkan satu dasar luar yang bercirikan kepada neutralisme. Apakah yang dimaksudkan sebagai neutralisme? Iaitu semua negara merupakan kawan kepada kita. We are friends to all. Okay? Dan kita tidak memilih kawan berdasarkan ideologi ataupun berpaksikan kepada ideologi. Semua negara merupakan kawan kepada Malaysia. Itu adalah satu hakikat. Kalau saudara-saudari lihat kepada website di Kementerian Luar, itu dinyatakan dengan jelas. Malaysia, dasar luar Malaysia adalah berlandaskan kepada konsep neutrality. We are friends to all. Oleh demikian, kita mempunyai persahabatan dengan negara-negara baik daripada benua Afrika, seperti Zimbabwe, dan juga Ghana, dan juga kita mempunyai persahabatan dengan negara-negara di Amerika Latin ataupun Amerika Selatan. Dan pagi ini saudara-saudari boleh lihat para duta atau perwakilan asing daripada negara-negara Amerika Latin. Ya, walaupun tuan rumah adalah daripada Peru, tetapi turut dihadiri oleh para perwakilan ataupun duta-duta daripada, saya sempat lihat macam duta daripada Cuba. Walaupun Cuba pada hari ini masih merupakan sebuah negara komunis, dia masih merupakan kawan kepada Malaysia. So balik kepada soalan hubungan Malaysia dengan Peru. Sememangnya hubungan telah pun terjalin seperti mana saudara-saudari boleh lihat tadi sewaktu pentadbiran Tun Dr. Mahathir, sewaktu beliau menjadi Perdana Menteri yang keempat. Dan kemudian dilanjutkan oleh Perdana Menteri yang seterusnya, dan pada tahun 2024 Datuk Seri Anwar telah melawat Peru dan hubungan masih dikatakan kukuh. Apakah kelebihan ataupun what is the significance in these relations? As I said that Malaysia is a friendly nation to all countries, okay, and including with Latin American countries, and negara-negara Amerika Latin terdiri daripada negara-negara membangun sama seperti Malaysia. Kita mempunyai banyak persamaan dari segi, seperti yang saya katakan, dari segi keadaan geografi, keadaan iklim, keadaan hutan, dan juga kita mempunyai ekonomi yang mempunyai persamaan. So dari segi cabaran pun kita mempunyai banyak cabaran yang sama. Kita masih terpaksa berhadapan dengan kuasa-kuasa hegemoni seperti Amerika Syarikat, okay, maupun misalnya China dan sebagainya. So we share a lot of similarities as well as we share a lot of challenges together. So that is why it is extremely important for these bilateral relations. We need this solidarity, semangat bersama, kerana kita merupakan negara-negara membangun yang menghadapi masalah yang sama, banyak persamaan. So that is why we need each other to work together, baik dalam bentuk bilateral antara Kuala Lumpur dengan Lima. Alright, when I say Lima is the capital of Peru, by the way, and then multilaterally, for example dalam APEC. Malaysia is a member of APEC, as well as Peru is also a member of APEC. So that's why we need to have this working togetherness, this solidarity, because we are all developing countries. We face a lot of similarities, and we also face a lot of challenges. I hope I answer your question, yeah? All right. And any, yes? Students from UM.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Yes.
My name is Faik, and I'm from UC Malaya. And if I may, I was also a former student of Kajang High School too.
There you see.
So, for my question is, I would like to explore the people-to-people context. As we celebrated the 40th relation with Peru, how do you assess the familiarity of the people, the society of Malaysia towards the Peruvian societies? And what is the lacking that we have that we should enforce even more to have this strengthening of relation in people-to-people context in family?
Thank you so much. As I mentioned earlier on, one of the greatest challenges that we face is the lack of knowing of each other. We know where is Peru. When you say Peru, you think of, Latin America, right? And that's about it. Let's be very frank. Let's be very frank. Okay? Before the Peruvian embassy invited me to give a keynote all right? Much I know of Peru is just here and there, bits and pieces. But because I'm supposed to prepare this paper, I have to, sit down and read through about Peru and get to know more. So one of the challenges that we face is we do not know much about Peru, and vice versa. I believe people in Peru also may not know much about Malaysia. They may know Malaysia is in Southeast Asia, all right, surrounded by countries like Thailand and Singapore and Indonesia. That's about it. So I think, as I mentioned towards the end of my talk or my discussion, we must make an effort to know more about Peru. Like as the Malay saying, tak kenal maka tak cinta. All right, if you don't know, we won't fall in love. And so we must get to know more about Peru. And programs like this, like the exhibition by the Peruvian embassy, is an excellent program because that helps Malaysians to get to know about Peru. And if you look at the video, don't you think that the features of the people are very much like our people? They do look a lot like Malays or like, people from East Malaysia. So they bear a lot of similarities with our people. They were once colonized, so as we. They are also a country with tropical rainforests, so are we. So that's why I say that one area that we need to enhance is people-to-people relation. I mean, we should go beyond government to government. Because government to government, there is so much that it can do. But people to people, is boundless. Ataupun sempadannya sangat luas. That, like for example, exchange of students. Exchange of students. That is people to people. That's why I encourage, if hopefully through this 40th anniversary, the embassy can, enhance closer ties with the Ministry of Education, especially the newer generation, those who are in the schools. Perhaps this is a challenge to all of you today, right? Focus to your study also next time, not now, but when you further your tertiary education, when you enter university, perhaps you want to take up Spanish as an extra language. Belajar bahasa Spanyol. Okay? That could be one area because it's not being not much known from Malaysian perspective. Okay, and then study about Latin America, including Peru. So I think this is something which, as I say, the next 40 years we should visualize that the relationship is not just government to government, G to G, but P to P. I hope that answers your question. Thank you. Any other questions? Yeah. Berapa lama ya Q&A? Never mind. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead, please. I always encourage students to ask questions.
Okay. Good morning, Professor.
Yeah. Yes, morning.
My name is Adi Muhammad Umar bin Adi Izwan from SMK Sebajaya. And as per what was said before, both of our countries share many similarities in cultures, correct?
Yes.
So my question is, Professor, do you think there will be a time when our country is so influenced by Peru's cultures, our next generation will lack the knowledge of our own cultures?
All right, that's your question.
Yeah, that's my question. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I don't foresee that in near future. We are more exposed to culture from Korea, from Japan, all right? Not so much from Peru. I'm not saying that those cultures are not okay, not good, but we are more exposed to K-pop, and so on and so forth, right? I don't think we will come to a level when overwhelmed by Latin American culture or Peruvian culture. But it is a challenge to us to know more about them. And likewise, for the people from Peru, from Latin America, to know about us. Okay, but I don't think it will come to that stage as of now, or even in future. And we must never forget our own culture, irrespective we are exposed to Japanese pop culture or K-pop and all, we must preserve our own culture. That is extremely important. We must preserve our identity. Alright, ketahanan, resilience. That is extremely important. Alright, any more questions?
Doktor, mungkin soalan terakhir daripada YouTube.
Yes. Oh, okay, there's one.
Ada daripada YouTube juga.
Okay, okay. Okay, hold on ya.
Saya Safani daripada Politeknik Balik Pulau. Dari segi kebudayaan dan sejarah, adakah kerjasama dalam usaha memartabatkan penemuan arkeologi? Sebagai contoh, Peru terkenal dengan Tamadun Empayar Inca, di Malaysia pula ada Sungai Batu di Kedah.
Ya, betul. Ini merupakan juga merupakan satu bidang yang boleh diterokai bersama. Okay? Khususnya dalam bidang arkeologi. Malaysia mempunyai tapak-tapak arkeologi yang masih belum diterokai. Misalnya di Lembah Bujang, di sebelah utara, kerana seperti yang saya sebut dalam perkongsian tadi, kerajaan-kerajaan Melayu awal, misalnya Langkah Suka, berpusat di sebelah utara Semenanjung. Masih belum ada banyak usaha-usaha arkeologi dibuat. Dan di sini kita boleh mempelajari ataupun mempelopori bersama daripada pakar-pakar yang ada di Peru untuk tujuan arkeologi, untuk mencari gali tempat-tempat sejarah yang bersejarah. Okay, so di sini thank you very much for asking this question. Kita boleh juga mengadakan kerjasama dengan pakar-pakar arkeologi daripada Peru. Right? Yes, you have a last question? Maybe last question? Yeah. Daripada Kajang High School. Sekolah Menengah Tinggi Kajang.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
My name is Israel Mdai. My question is, do you think there will be any vestige?
Any, sorry?
Any apa?
Adik boleh tanya dalam bahasa Melayu pun tak apa. Adik boleh tanya dalam bahasa Melayu pun tak apa. No worries.
Initiative between Malaysia and Peru to strengthen our bonds, especially among the youngest student, so we can get to know each other better in the future.
Okay, if I understood your question correctly, what are the areas the youths can cooperate in these bilateral relations? Is that your question?
Yes, sir.
Is that your question? Yeah, okay. If that's your question, I'll make it quick because it's already close to 12. We have to wrap up everything, yeah? So, I think that the younger I'm so happy to see the younger generation, school students are here and also university students, because you will carve the relations of the next 40 years. Okay? And there are already, as I mentioned in my sharing, that there are many areas for us to explore, which have not yet been explored in the past 40 years. So the youths can play a crucial role. Okay, it's up to you, all right, to further explore. Like for example, when you enter the university next time, students, school leavers, if you are given the opportunity to study a foreign language, we always want to study Japanese, Korean, which is fine, but why don't also consider studying Spanish? All right, why don't consider studying Spanish? Habla Español. Right? Habla Español. All right? So, giving an opportunity to expose yourself to the Hispanic world. All right? Not just Peru, but Spanish is one of the UN languages. So you can utilize that knowledge of you have mastered that language. Not just Peru, but the entire Hispanic world that includes Latin America, Central America, and even United States, and not forgetting Spain itself. So youths have a lot of opportunities. So one step is to learn the language, because if you don't learn the language, you cannot have this love for it, right? So you learn the language, besides, of course, Bahasa Melayu as the national language, English, and maybe a third language could be Spanish. And then from there you can explore the opportunities of, working in Latin America, in America, okay, as well. So this is what I can advise. All right, make the first move. If I can turn the clock, now it's 2026, if I can turn the clock 40 years ago, I would love to deepen my Spanish language, because I did learn for one semester, but due to some challenges, I eventually dropped out. But if I would really want to continue my study on Spanish language. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
My name's Bella, and I'm from Australia. But I'm here today because nearly 40 years ago, I was an exchange student from Australia to Mexico. And in Mexico, I met a man called Ricardo and his wife Sandra. And Ricardo was in his very first diplomatic posting from Peru. He met his wife in Mexico, and 40 years ago, being an exchange student and learning Spanish, even though I arrived without knowing a word of it, 40 years later, I'm here in Malaysia, because of that person-to-person connection from Australia to Mexico to Peru to learning Spanish, which covers, after English, I think Spanish is the most widely spoken language on the planet. So by learning Spanish, and you have the opportunity to learn about a huge number of countries, not just Peru, and speak with, Japanese, they speak that in Japan. That's wonderful. Spanish, they speak it all over the globe. So yes, 40 years later, person-to-person relationships may bring you to places you never expected to be, like right here today.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. So if I say you may think it's just theoretical, here you have a personal testimony of the importance of people-to-people relations, the importance of mastering perhaps a third language, that is Spanish, the advantages of it. And you never know, as rightly been mentioned, the language will bring you far. Okay, not just Peru, but the entire Hispanic world and also other parts of the world. All right, any other questions? If not, we wrap it off, okay? I know it's near lunch, so as they say, the hungry man is the angry man. So I have to end
I think that's all for today.
Yeah.
If you have any more questions, maybe you can send an email to our doctor here. All right? We need to wrap up already. I'm so sorry.
No worries. Thank you very much. Thank you. Muchas gracias.
And maybe everyone can say muchas gracias to our doctor here. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to our fellow students. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. And also thank you again to our doctor for the thoughtful responses.
Terima kasih kepada semua yang telah mengambil bahagian dalam sesi soal jawab. Sebentar tadi kita teruskan dengan sesi bergambar bersama penceramah kita. Mungkin semua boleh berdiri dan rapat ke tengah dewan. Dijemput pengarah dan juga timbalan pengarah kita untuk bersama-sama penceramah kita di hadapan.
Begitu juga dengan urus setia, mohon ke hadapan untuk bergambar bersama. Okey, pastikan semua bersedia dengan senyuman manis.
Tiga, dua, satu. Berikan senyuman anda. Freestyle. Paling cute boleh bagi. L for library.
L for library.
Kejap. Dan terakhir, lambai pada kamera dengan kiraan kamera di bawah dengan kiraan 3, 2, 1.
Hola. Adios.
Berikan lambaian anda. Terima kasih atas kerjasama semua. Berikan tepukan yang gemuruh.
On behalf of the organizer, we would like to express our sincere appreciation to all distinguished guests, speaker, performers, partners and everyone present here today in National Library of Malaysia and also through YouTube PNM TV Channel.
Semoga pada hari ini menjadi wadah bermakna dalam memperkukuh hubungan persahabatan antara Malaysia dan Peru, memperluaskan kefahaman terhadap pelbagai budaya serta menyemarakkan semangat perpaduan, hormat menghormati dan kerjasama antara kedua negara. Para hadirin, majlis kini menjemput semua tetamu untuk menikmati jamuan yang telah disediakan di Laman Ilmu Aras 1.
Refreshments will be served at Laman Ilmu Level 1 and please do not forget to stop by the exhibition area to view the Inca Empire photo exhibition at Level 1.
Sekian, terima kasih dan salam hormat.
Muchas gracias. Thank you so much. Doakan saya.